Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. All right, I'm coming. I'm coming up. Okay. All right. All right, I'm in a loop. Let me just see if I can get you guys on here. There we go. Can you guys see me? Yay! Hi, Mrs. Living in Health. Hey, Genesis. Yeah, I think that is my although what is that beeping noise that's going on? We got all kinds of solutions in here. There we go. Yeah, I think that is my Keosha, Arlen. I'm gonna flip these so I can see what you guys are saying and look at you at the same time. There we go. Okay. I don't know what is making that noise now. Let me try to put it on the headsets and see if. I don't know what is making that. No, it's still doing it. Hang on, guys. Let me try to put it on the headsets and see if. Uh, no, it's still doing it. Hang on, guys. Sorry, ladies. No, it's still doing it. Hang on, guys. Sorry, ladies. Okay, I think it's gone. Can you guys hear me now when I wear the headsets? No, it's still doing it. Hang on, guys. Sorry, ladies. Okay, I think it's gone. Can you guys hear me now when I wear the headsets? Okay, I think we're good. If you guys can hear me, the beeping has stopped. I'm gonna turn it that way because I have a whole bunch of boxes over there. Okay. Hello, LW Lou Lovely. Hello, Michelle Moore, Tonya. Hello, Kiosha, Tasha. Random chat. Okay. Jennifer MB. You guys can hear me. Infertility Z. Genesis Loving. Mama S. Masile. Okay. Okay. Hello, LW Lou Lovely. Hello. Hey, Michelle, Arlen. Tonya. Hello, Kiosha, Tasha. Not popping popcorn. Sorry, ladies. Chat. Okay. Jennifer MB. Infertility Z. Genesis Loving. Mama S. Masile. Echo. Okay. Okay. Hello, LW Lou Lovely. Hello. Hey, Michelle, Arlen. Kiosha, Tasha. I don't know why there's this echo. Popcorn. Sorry, ladies. Chat. Jennifer MD. Infertility Z. Okay. Genesis Loving. Mama S. Masile. Echo. Okay. Okay. There's still an echo. Hey, Arlen. I don't know why there's this echo. Popcorn. Sorry, ladies. Jennifer MD. Infertility Z. Okay. Genesis Loving. Mama S. Masile. Echo. Okay. Okay. Okay, I am back, but I cannot see you guys. Why doesn't it look live? Technology. Okay, Kiesha says she can see me. All right, sorry about that, ladies. I don't know what happened, and I cannot hear myself now. Hopefully that's a good thing. If you guys can hear me, we're okay though. And I'm just gonna move you over here. It's something to do with the new way the Google Hangout works, and I'm still getting used to it. So apologies. Hopefully we have everybody still here. I can go to my page and let me just see. What in the Sam? Okay. That's what it was. Okay. Let me just, I can see you guys now. Okay. Thank you, Cindy. All right. Sorry about that, ladies. I'm going to take these off for now then. Although I don't know if I should mess with it. Okay. Hopefully you guys can still hear and see me. Sorry about that. That is a technology snafu, and I've just totally destroyed the top of my hair with the, not the headbands. What are those headsets? So I wanted to talk to you guys about FSH, AMH, and AFC because I get the most emails about these topics, and I got 2 today, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a live because ZZ on Deck was asking when I was going to do my next live. And so here it is. Hey, fam. How are you, everybody? Any BFPs, any 2-week waiters, anybody waiting to ovulate? What is going on with you ladies? Hey, it's Alfred Story. Good evening. Thank you. So I am, for me, I'll show you guys. I'm waiting to ovulate. I have been using this app, the Easy at Home app. I know some of you guys have the Pre-Mom app. Mine is Easy at Home, but I'm loving it because it tracks the ovulation. Actually, you know what? I took a picture so I can show you guys because I can make it larger. Yeah, so it does those where you don't have to play with the pee sticks, and so that I got that one this morning, the Peak one what is that, 153? Yesterday it was 100, so we're good. Um, so yeah, who's got what going on? 2-week wait, Latundra? Okay. Are you in the first half or the second half of the 2-week wait? Because, oh my God, that is like anxiety inducing, I think. It is crazy. We'll send baby dust for you. Oh, 7 DPO. All right, Tanya, we are keeping you in our prayers. I'm waiting to ovulate, then I'll be in the 2-week wait. Yes, me too. I think today is the day. I think I felt ovulation pain. So we will see. I am temping this cycle, so we'll see. Although you guys will see a video next week. I did not. Oh, you're in your first part of your 2-week wait. Okay. I always feel like the first week of the 2-week wait is a little bit easier because you know you can't test and you're just hoping for fertilization and implantation. And then I always get kind of itchy, twitchy in the second part of the 2-week wait because I'm like, can I test now? Is it too soon? Yeah, last cycle I tested. I feel like I should have waited. Hey, Kiss My Cocktail. Oh, I like that name. How are you? Oh, have a hysteroscopy on Friday. The fun never stops. Oh gosh. Hopefully it goes well. Are they removing a polyp, Jennifer, or is it why do you need the hysteroscopy? Is it Takima 10 DPO still feeling ovary pain? Why? You're feeling ovary pain at 10 DPO? Maybe it's implantation. Although you said ovary pain. Are you sure it's ovary pain? Oh, Danette and Latundra are cycle twins. All right. Well, wherever you are in your cycle, I'm wishing you well. If you're waiting to ovulate, I know that is the crazy part, but hopefully you've got your baby dancing in and you've done pomegranate juice. I'm gonna still drink my pomegranate juice until I have official temporized, and then I'll switch over to pineapples. But yeah. All right. So I wanted to talk about FSH, like I said before, AMH and AFC. FSH, I get the most questions about, I think because I have a video that I reduced my FSH in 30 days. But I also get a lot of questions about AMH. I'm going to start with AMH. There's a relationship between all of them and AFC. This typically applies to women who have had some sort of intervention with a reproductive endocrinologist, like they've gone to a fertility clinic, or they're working with their OBGYN to get pregnant, like maybe they're doing a Femera or a Clomid. But overall, these are good markers for your fertility. So even if you are not at the point where you are seeing a professional for help, maybe you're, 29 and you're like, I want to wait till I'm 35. These are good, especially the AMH and the AFC, which is your antral follicle count. These are good fertility markers. These are what are used to kind of determine how much time do you have. Should you be thinking about freezing your eggs, cryopreservation of your eggs? Should you be rethinking your timeline based on what your body is telling you? So the first one, the AMH, is the anti-myrillion hormone. I'm sure I'm butchering that name. Basically what it is, they always tell us we're born with all the eggs we'll ever have, which is fine because normally we're born with all the arms we'll ever have and all the eyes we'll ever have. So it's not the end of the world to be born with all the eggs you'll ever have. As time goes on, those eggs diminish, right? We know that every month when we have a period, we're releasing eggs. If we have something like PCOS, we may be releasing more than one egg a cycle. Whatever is going on with us, we are releasing at least one egg a month. They diminish quite quickly, actually, before puberty, before we ever have our first period. They seem to drop off of a cliff at the age of 35. So that's when you see it, women who are trying to get pregnant referred to as AMA, advanced maternal age, because their ovarian reserve is diminishing. It drops off at 35, drops off again at 40, 42, and 45. So it's kind of going down, down, down. So AMH is kind of like a gauge on your dashboard in your car, like just say your gas gauge. It's telling you how much gas is left or how many eggs you have left. Typically, if you're going to do fertility treatments, they want you to have at least a 1. Is that a hard and fast rule? No. Mine is 0.4, and I've had multiple fertility treatments. So it's not the end of the world. The question that I get asked the most is, help, my AMH is super low. How can I increase it? Unfortunately, the AMH is not something that you can increase. It is what it is because it's telling you how many eggs you have left. At that point, as it diminishes, as we get older, we want to work on the quality of our eggs. And so we can improve the quality with like supplements, eating well, sleeping well, exercise. We cannot increase the quantity. It's not the end of the world though. I just want to see ovaries, ovarian cyst maybe. This is Kiosha, FSH is 10.3, AMH is 0.4, starting Clement tomorrow. All right. So 10.3 is not bad. Usually if it's under 20, you will respond to stimulation. So you should be fine with the Clomid. They like it to be 10 or under for a higher response. In IVF, with Clomid, you're fine at your number, Clomid or Femera. Are you going to do timed intercourse, Kiosha, or are you doing IUI? And if there is an ovarian cyst, they should be able to see, are you working with an RE? They can look at your estradiol and see if it's elevated. Usually it will be if there's a cyst in your ovaries, your E2. Exploratory, but they believe they'll remove a fibroid and a polyp. Okay, Jennifer. So I had this procedure done in September of last year to remove a polyp. And then when they were in there, they said they kind of cleaned up my endometrial lining. They did put me to sleep for mine. I don't know if they're going to put you to sleep, and they sent my polyp out for biopsy. But overall, it was like a little discomfort the next day and nothing more than that. I'm excited I had to take Provera to induce an 81-day cycle. Oh, why was it delayed by 81 days? Did you not ovulate, or was it, were you coming off the end of a miscarriage? I forgot the juice. I got to do it next cycle. Or exercise. I think the palm juice or any antioxidant. It doesn't have to be the palm juice. I mix mine with seltzer water, but yeah. AMH 0.7, but I have an AFC between 8 and 12. FSH always under 10, but maybe I have bad eggs because of low MH. So is it like jicama? Is it ticamia? Tell me how, give me a hint. So not necessarily that you have bad eggs. They could be diminished. They say when our AMH gets low, it shows that the quality of the eggs could possibly be diminished, chromosomal abnormalities. But there are potentially some good eggs in there. So all is not lost. AFC between 8 and 12 is good. I don't know how old you are. Like my AFC, I think is 7. When I first started, it was 3. I was able to increase it with DHEA. So that's the other thing. Even though you can't increase your AMH, your AFC, which is your antral follicle count, so your follicles when they're resting, your ovarian follicles, because like we have hair follicles and everything else. They usually will do this, your AFC at the beginning of your cycle in the follicular phase before your hormones get going, stimulating which follicles are going to be recruited for that cycle. So usually between cycle day 2 and cycle day 5, they will count your antral follicle counts. And that just means your resting follicles before any hormones like your follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, or your estrogen or anything else has impacted your follicle growth. So 8 and 12 is a good number. Okay, timed intercourse. So that's good because then you can do multiple baby dances, if you will. So yeah. And I would say with the Clomid, be mindful that it can impact your cervical fluid. So you want to prepare for that. I think exercise is good for that. Acupuncture, some other things, but timed intercourse is really good. I think it's, especially if there are no male factor issues, like sperm is fine, it's going to travel fine. Timed intercourse is great. Yes, I'll be out. Praise Jesus, hoping it doesn't delay embryo transfer in July. Oh, you shouldn't. You should be okay. So when I had mine, Jennifer, they did delay mine because they had to biopsy. So September like September 21st was my hysteroscopy, and then I had my I had my retrieval in November. But so if you're having it this week, you should be fine for July. A swapper, to be honest. I don't know if I ovulated or not, or if I had a miscarriage. I got positive tests, but they faded over time. Oh, I'm sorry. So you probably did end up with a miscarriage, and that can delay. They say it takes like 3 months for our cycles to rebound after, or to return to normal after a loss. And so T Kamaya. Okay. I love that. That's beautiful. Hey, Tara, how are you? Have you heard of pregnitude? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I have heard of pregnitude, Kiosha, and I did take it. It gets expensive after a while, so now I just do inositol, I think, which is one of the ingredients. So pregnitude has that and folic acid in it. When I went and got my blood levels tested, my folic acid was really high, and so I didn't continue with it, and I just buy the inositol. It's really good for women who have trouble ovulating on their own. So I take it on occasion. I'm not as fanatical about it as I was, but I've been TTC, oh my God, it's almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in like June, I think. Or prepping, because I did like my pre-mester where they said prep for 3 months. I didn't actually do my first insemination until October. But hang on one second. Let me I'll show you what I'm taking instead of pregnitude. Okay. Yeah. And hopefully it's not in reverse, myofolate. This is actually by Fairhaven Health. This is less than the pregnitude. It comes in a packet that you just kind of sprinkle in your beverage. It's like this, and you put it in there. It's the same as the pregnitude, but in the beginning, I took the pregnitude religiously. But like I said, it did end up being expensive. And when my folic acid came back high, I wasn't really sure, but I think it's good. So yeah, you just mix 1 packet per day with 8 ounces or more of water or any non-carbonated beverage. Don't put it in carbonated. I put it in seltzer water one time and I made a mess. And stir thoroughly. I don't remember how much this was, but there are 30 packets in here. The pregnitude, I feel like I had to take it twice a day, but it's been a minute since I've taken it. Are you taking it? Are you thinking about taking it? A swapper, oh my God, you had 12 miscarriages. Oh, I'm so sorry. Also paraplegic, and my doctors have told me that I'm fine to have kids. Oh, good. Okay. Wow. So yeah, do they do genetic testing on the miscarriages, or have they done, I mean, I guess there's like a full workup. What's your prolactin look like? What is your thyroid looking like? What are your overall hormone profile? And have you considered reproductive immunologist to test? Hey, BB, you're not late. You missed a whole bunch we had a big technical issue at the beginning, so you missed all that. I think I had 1, issues with the system, and 2, too many things on in the house. I'm taking it twice a day. I'm 2 weeks in. Okay. I mean, definitely finish your packet. I would just you can get I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Myo-inositol, 2,000 milligrams is what it has in it. You can get that in a pill form. You can take it in the powder form. There are more things on the market than pregnitude that have those 2 in there. And usually with the pregnitude, you get like a coupon inside of it, but I was ordering it on Amazon, so I couldn't apply the coupon. But if you go into a drugstore, they'll have it there. I live in New York, and so the drugstore was like $45. So I was saving $40, where I got it on Amazon for $35. So it was like I was chasing my tail for $5. But yeah, I mean, I was a fanatic about it for a long time. And then one of the ladies in the fertility fam told me about other options. And so that's why I switched. But if you don't have an issue with the price where you are, it's a fantastic product. Have you ever tried Pink Stork Fertility? See if so. I haven't. Has anybody else on here tried the Pink Stork Fertility tea? I have not. I don't even know what's in it. Hi, Danielle. 46, trying to have a baby. I took an ovulation test and got a flashing smiley face when my doctor tells me I'm going through premenopausal period. So premenopausal does not mean that you can't have a baby. He's saying it because of your age. It's like periomenopause and things that happen. So you don't just go from fully fertile to menopause. There's the middle part that's called periomenopause. And I'm actually going to pull it up so that I don't misquote it. let's do this. It is, you can still get pregnant during perimenopause as long as you're still ovulating, which you can tell if you're having a period or not. Perimenopause, you can still get pregnant. Keeping the pregnancy, unfortunately, is another thing, but if you're working on your body, working on your overall health, you should be good there. So, the technical definition, perimenopause refers to the years before menopause when the ovaries gradually start to make less estrogen. So technically, I'm in perimenopause. I'm making less estrogen. My FSH increases. I have to really work to keep it down. Sometimes, like when I did my IVF cycle, they gave me estrogen supplements on cycle day 21 before to help keep it down. Estrogen levels fluctuate. You can have heavier, irregular periods and cramping. Yeah, it just refers to the years before menopause. And then menopause is defined as officially when you have not had a period for 12 months or more. So sometimes people will not have one for 6 months when they're in perimenopause, and then it'll resume. So they're not in menopause. If it's 13 months and you haven't had one, you're in menopause. What tasted like long? Oh, okay. Genesis is the answer, and Tanya. Long clip-ins. They haven't done much for me about the miscarriages, but my panels look good. My progesterone levels are low, and I think I have PCOS. Okay, so progesterone levels being low, they can definitely supplement for you. Some doctors believe that low progesterone indicates a weak ovulation. So, and you have PCOS, so that probably goes hand in hand. The minoxidil is good for PCOS. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, I'm not sure what level of exercise that you can do because of your paraplegic, but obviously the circulation below the waist, maybe acupuncture can help, or something, they help increase blood flow to the uterus. Uterine massage, if your partner can massage you. A fertility massage would be great. Some castor oil packs, anything that help bring the blood flow back into your uterine cavity. Mrs. Living in Hope wants to try another IUI. Okay, before doing another IVF cycle, but on Saturday, cycle day 12, I had one follicle at 1.36 centimeters, but on Monday, the follicle was 1.33. I'm going back on Thursday. Centimeters or millimeters? Because now I'm trying to figure out how to convert that. The follicle was 1. Wait a minute. Either way, it was smaller on cycle day 14 than on 12. Okay, so you're going back on Thursday for another measurement. What are you doing, a natural IUI, or are you doing medicated? Were they expecting more than one follicle? Okay, Tanya likes the taste after the first cup. Okay. Tasha, or is it Tasha or Tosha? Hopefully I'm saying that right. The only thing I have tried was Ova Boost, worked like a charm, but I ended up miscarrying at 6 weeks. Sorry about that, honey. Tikama says, how did it go at New Hope? Any specific recommendation for protocol? So I actually haven't gone to New Hope yet. I needed to reschedule it for after my trip. I was doing too much. I ended up, which you guys haven't seen that video. That's the next video. I have to finish editing it. I ended up with a mass on my breast. So I had to have surgery, the biopsy. And so I delayed my other appointments because I was trying to get everything checked off my list for share. So yeah, I haven't gone. I don't intend to be treated at New Hope unless I'm going to do the mitochondrial transfer. And so I wanted to go and get information on that. They also do the platelets, like the rich platelet replacement, but I haven't found any studies that clearly demonstrate when people had that they then got pregnant, and it's expensive, not covered by any insurance. And so New Hope is on hold. Bless you, taste buds. Danielle says, okay, how do you feel about maca powder? I love maca powder. I think maca powder is amazing. I take it in a smoothie. It is good. There's so many, I just want to quote it. One, it helps with sex drive like crazy. It helps with cervical fluid. Let me see. Maca powder. We talked about this a little bit in the last chat. Maca powder, fertility. let's see. So it improves energy levels, libido, fertility, and more. It definitely improves libido. Like I'm, at least for me, and I know a couple of the other fam members. It is from a root. It is from Peru. It's a natural aphrodisiac. It's rich in vitamins and minerals. So it has iron, iodine, copper, manganese, zinc, as well as vitamins B12, C, and D. It's also a complete protein containing the 9 essential amino acids that the body can't produce on its own. So those are all great reasons to take it. It supports hormonal balance and can lead to healthier eggs. So that was the reason why I started to take it. It was a hormone balancer. I'm just gonna see if I can switch it so you guys can actually see this. If I find screen share. Share the screen. Move that over here. Okay. So just so you guys can see what I'm saying. This is from wellandgood.com. So it's a hormone balancer. Research has shown that using maca can reduce depression and anxiety. Like traditional ginseng, maca is an adaptogenic herb. Adaptogenic herb, non-toxic plants that help the body regulate stress. More specifically, it supports the endocrine system, regulating communication between the hypothalamus and pituitary gland. So pituitary is super important in fertility. Pituitary gland helps balance the production of hormones. In addition to its adaptogenic qualities, a small study on postmenopausal showed maca was able to lower blood pressure. It helps boost the immune system. It says it can be a pick-me-up. I didn't find a pick-me-up, but again, I do take it in the morning. So that could be a part of it. But yeah, those are my 2 cents on maca. I think it's fabulous. Now, what did I do with the chat where I can see you guys? Here we go. I'm doing too much. Okay. Okay. Deborah says, ovarian reserve and low hormones, no cycle. My doctor gave me estrogen, just started DHEA and CoQ10. Do you have any suggestions? I think DHEA and CoQ10 are awesome. I would make sure it's the ubiquinol form of CoQ10. So there are 2 forms, ubiquinone and ubiquinol. They're both CoQ10. Ubiquinol will usually specifically say ubiquinol. It's a little bit more expensive, but it is processed more readily by the body. And you'll get more of it for your more bang for your buck. 300 milligrams of the CoQ10, the ubiquinol, and then 75 milligrams of the DHEA. I would also do any antioxidants, so like a NAC or it doesn't all have to be in pills too, because that's another thing. I know a lot of us want to take a lot of supplements. Some of us don't. Think of things like berries, blueberries, raspberries. All of those are antioxidants. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all of those also can help with your overall levels and helping with your egg quality. Danette, yes, maca root did increase. Yeah, it increased mine too. It increased not only did it increase my libido, it also increased my cervical mucus. Like I had a lot of egg white cervical mucus, TMI. This is the TMI channel, but I was good to go. I mean, hey. The doctor was expecting 1 or 2 follicles. However, most likely it will be canceled. I was on letrozole. This process is so depressing. Really? They're going to cancel it even if you have 1? How many milligrams of letrozole did you take? It is depressing, honey. Like, it is just like, ugh, oh my God. And do you remember, did they test your FSH before? Because the one time where I didn't respond, when they went back and looked at my FSH, it was over 20. And so they were like, oh yeah, you're not going to respond. So then after that, going forward, we always verified my FSH was 10 or lower. I did get the proper name of the procedure that I was talking about. It called a zip transfer, which means they implant the fertilized egg or eggs directly into your tube. Oh, why into your tube and not into your uterus? Oh, that's interesting. Who does that procedure? Are you thinking about doing it, Tanya? Did you see any improvement with estrogen priming? Mrs. 2.5. Okay, so yes, I did see improvement with estrogen priming. My FSH came back really low. That's the only thing I can compare it to because I only did the one IVF cycle. That was the only time I did the estrogen priming was prepping for that. We were able to get my FSH down lower before that without it, but it came, down like right quick. So I believe that was the intention, the only intention, and to help with the quality of the eggs. The one egg that I did get, it did fertilize. Although from everything I read, just those 7-10 days alone would not have improved the quality of the egg. It takes about 90 days if you're going to change the quality of your eggs because those follicles are kind of like awoken up 90 days before, and then everything in your body is that you're taking, which is why they say, cut down on sugar or reduce your sugar, reduce your alcohol, dairy, and all of those things because it's pumping into your oh my God, it's pumping into your eggs, into all of your reproductive system. It's going into your whole body, right? So it's hard to say. I want to say yes, but I can't just like completely rule it out because we only did the one cycle. Hey, love, Tanya, how are you? Thank you for the sticker hookup on Instagram. You showed me so many. That was awesome. Mrs. Living in Hope, are they willing to have you do a higher dose of the letrozole? Because I think I got up to 7.5 where I was taking 3 tablets. And are you doing it cycle day 3 and then going 5 days? Because you're saying you're on cycle day 12. So I'm not sure when you started those. We did not check my FSH. So if they did blood work for you on cycle day 2 or 3, have them go back and look at it. They should be able to see what the FSH was. Usually if it's over 20, you're not going to get a great response. What are my thoughts on InvoCell? I think it's interesting. First of all, I think there's certain people who are a good fit for InvoCell, right? So for those of you who don't know what InvoCell is, you go through the entire IVF process where they take out your eggs, you get your sperm, however it's the sample or the donor, and they put them in a capsule and then they put them back inside mom and they let them fertilize that way. With traditional IVF, it happens in a lab in a petri dish. And with ICSI, it happens where they take one sperm cell and put it in the egg to fertilize it, hope for fertilization. So InvoCell, they put all the eggs in, all the sperm, put them in mom, and I think it's 7 days, don't quote me on that. And then they take them out and see what's fertilized. So I think that's an amazing situation when you have great sperm. If you have any issues, mobility, morphology, motility, it could be a struggle. I like ICSI. I just feel like it takes the guesswork out of it. I've seen some women here on YouTube where they talked about they let them sit in there for a day with the sperm and the egg, not in the InvoCell, in the regular petri dish. It didn't fertilize, and so then as a backup, they went to ICSI. I just feel like ICSI is foolproof. It doesn't guarantee fertilization, but it gives you your best shot. Of course, there is an additional cost with ICSI, fair enough. So if you're young or younger than me, and you've got no sperm issues, I think it's great, either in the dish or in the InvoCell. And I think it's nice because the babies, you don't have to worry about them in a lab. Unfortunately, you just don't know how they're growing. So hopefully everything is going okay, right? You can't see, like no one's telling you that they've actually fertilized. No one's telling you that they've split into 8 cells or they made it to blastocyst. So I think it's 5 days, right? Because if it's going to go to blastocyst, they probably take it out on the 5th or 6th day. They can't tell you until they take out the InvoCell. And then I guess it doesn't matter either way because the outcome is the outcome, but I would just hate for them to take it out and tell me none of them fertilized, I guess. That would be my only thing. So I think, all of this is an emotional game, right? You have to prepare yourself for it mentally. And so if you can manage your mental state and your emotional state, you're all good. But I think it's a good option. At a clinic in California called Good Samaritan Hospital. Okay. I'm going to have to look that up. I haven't heard of that. So can you take maca powder with Pregnitude and Clomid? I'm also vitamin D 50,000 and prenatal with folic acid. So absolutely take the folic acid, absolutely the vitamin D. Those are always recommended. I would say, I don't know about the Pregnitude and the Clomid, honestly. And I did Femera, but I did take my Pregnitude with the Femera. I did take the maca powder. I would just check with the doctor because Clomid stimulates your eggs in a different way than Femera. So I don't want to give you bad information, Kiosha. The other ones are okay. Vitamin D, prenatal, absolutely. Maca root should be okay. It's the mino-inositol that I'm worried about. The folic acid there shouldn't be an issue, but I know mino-inositol can also impact ovulation. And my question is, does it support the way that Clomid works or not? That's the thing. I would just check with the doctor or do a little research. Okay, if things don't work out by September, you're going. Well, I hope things work out before then. I hope they do. He wants to do another cycle with a higher dose of letrozole and include with gonal F. Okay, so you're going to do injectables and the letrozole / Femera. That sounds good. Do you know about when you'll be starting your next IVF cycle? So the plan is to do it in June. I cannot do it in May because I'm traveling. I think some of you guys may have seen the video. My niece was here and she's graduating from university in May. And so I'm going out on the Friday of Mother's Day weekend, and I'm going to be gone that whole week. And I expect that I will start my cycle at that point if I'm not currently pregnant. And then the cycle that starts in June is the plan to start my next round of IVF. You started letrozole on cycle day 2. Okay, so cycle day 2, and then you had a measurement on cycle day 12. Yeah, I don't know. Have you had Clomid? It might be the way the letrozole is working, that it doesn't, maybe your body's not responding. Kyosha. Oh, taking. I figured that's what you meant. I was just like, I couldn't, yeah, the keyboard, no matter. So what's the difference between Clomid and Femera? Thank you, Mrs. Living in Hope. We're very proud of her. She's my brother's daughter. My brother passed away in 2001. And she's done really well. We're really proud of her. So I'm going to look up the difference between Clomid and Femera because Clomid versus Femera, they stimulate, I mean, it gets you to the same result, but they do stimulate your body in a different way. So let's see if we can find. And I took Femera specifically because I was worried about thin lining and, oh my God, thin lining. It impacts your lining and your cervical mucus. It can thin your lining and it can dry out cervical mucus. There's also less risk of cancer with the Femera based on the way that and I have unknown family history, so we were worried about breast cancer. So I just want to go through exactly how. Let me just read it first. Okay, this is it. Let me just share with you guys. Oh my God, what just happened? Not this one. It's technology. Okay. I am right here. Can you guys see that? Femera inhibits the enzyme in the adrenal glands, aromatase, that produces the estrogens, estradiol, and estrone. So it shuts it all down so that the estrogen is not there. Clomid binds to estrogen receptors in the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, ovary, endometrium, vagina, and cervix. It causes production of hormones, gonadotropins, by the pituitary, which stimulates ovulation. What the hell does that mean? So basically, originally Clomid was an ovulation induction medication. It also, because of the way that it behaves, creates more than one follicle to be released, which is why there is a higher incidence of multiples with Clomid cycles. But it's binding to your estrogen receptors, whereas the Femera is suppressing the adrenal glands that produce the estrogen. So it's kind of like where the source of where the estrogen is coming from. Femera totally suppresses that, Femera or letrozole. Clomid doesn't do that. So that's why when I was saying about the minoisitol and the Clomid, I'm not sure because Clomid is doing something to encourage ovulation, and so is the minoisotal. So I just would check with a doctor to make sure that you're not, it could be like increasing the dose, it could just be doubling the effects of it, where that's not what Femera is doing to your body. So I would just err on the side of caution. While we're here, I'll just give you guys some other stuff on. Femera is an anti-estrogen drug typically used for treating postmenopausal women with breast cancer. So when you use it for fertility, it's what they call off-label or off-brand use. Side effects are similar: nausea, vomiting, headache, muscle aches, or pain. Side effects of Femera that are different from Clomid include fatigue, diarrhea, constipation, chest pain, increased cholesterol levels, and decreased bone mineral density. Side effects of Clomid that are different from Femera include ovarian enlargement, flushing, stomach discomfort, breast discomfort, blurred vision, abnormal heartbeats, acne, allergic reactions, and uterine bleeding. So this reminds me of those commercials, they'll be like the fat-free potato chips may cause diarrhea. Like, you have to weigh it out. Is it worth it to you? Do you really need the fat-free potato chips and the diarrhea? You may not get it, but I'm being silly. Most medications have side effects. So you had horrible headaches, hot flashes, and just not feeling. Yeah, I didn't really have any side effects on the Femera. I had headaches. I take that back. I did have headaches, but nothing like unbearable. Thanks, Mrs. Living in Hope. Casey, what supplements do you recommend? You know what? I have to look it up, Casey. I know PCOS should not have DHEA. I would say CoQ10 would be good. The ubiquinol would be good. Inositol would be good. And maca root for sure off the top of my head. But anything beyond that, I have to do a little more research. But yeah. Do you take progesterone when you're just trying on your own? You know what, Timberly, I have and I haven't. So I've done it both ways. It can delay AF. I have, oh my God, I have a closet full of progesterone right now. And sometimes if people need it, I will mail it to them. But I had the prescriptions, so I just kept filling them. And then another TTC sister earlier on in my journey gave them to me. And I give them away and they were given to me. I'm not selling drugs on the internet. Let me just say that. So I'm gifting medication to those in need. And I was gifted medication when I was in need, when I didn't know to ask for it. So from the doctor. So I've done both. And I actually am debating if I'm going to do it this cycle. I think you have to be, the thing with taking it is you have to be diligent about taking your pregnancy test, because at a certain day, if you're not pregnant, you have to stop the progesterone or you may not get a bleed. The last time I took it with a cycle on my own, I did. So it doesn't mean you won't have your period if you're on it. It just depends. It can delay it though. Oh, that's okay, Timberly. Hi. Is it okay to take DHEA during the IVF stem cycle? It is. Just let your doctor know that you're doing it. Most doctors are okay with it. It's recommended 75 milligrams a day. Most doctors will have you take it leading up to it and during the stems. The new doctor that I have is saying he wants it 3 times a day, but spread out through the day, where before my other doctor was like, I don't care. So morning, afternoon, and evening. Now ask me if I do that all the time. The answer is no. I try. I'm taking Clomid for my next cycle. Okay. So Clomid is not, it's all good. I think some maca root will help you with your, the good gushy going on, just so you don't have to worry about dryness. And again, the dryness is coming from the way that it works, right? It's the estrogen, the blocking of the estrogen that's causing the dryness there. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Oh, Clomid does last longer in your body than Femera. So Femera is gone by the time your cycle is over. Clomid can have a longer lasting effect and last into the next cycle, which is why you see the lining thinning over time, because again, you're suppressing the estrogen. We know that the E2 has to rise in the follicular phase eventually for that lining to thicken. I know because they gave me E2 patches when my lining wasn't thick enough. But yeah. Can progesterone cream help build the uterine lining after ovulation happens? There is no scientific evidence to show that the cream builds the lining. Typically, you want to do progesterone and oil. oral progesterone tablets or vaginal insertions. Those are the only things that have been clinically proven to increase the lining and help support pregnancy. The cream, it's not enough to be absorbed to increase, which is what the battle is kind of also over the vaginal. Some doctors feel like it goes right to the spot. I prefer the vaginal. I know some people don't. I think I'm just petrified of the progesterone and oil needle. I had to do my trigger shot, and it's just a long fucking needle. Pardon my French. I mean, it's just a big needle. Like, hats off to you ladies who do PIO shots and do them on a daily basis. Like, I might just be like a needle punk. I don't know. I had an MD to tell me that gufenicin is great for thinning out cervical mucus. It is. If you want to go, it's a more chemically route. So there, and I might not be pronouncing it right. So it's in certain, and it's actually in the book, like Making Babies. There are a lot of people who recommend that. You just want to make sure that that's all you have. You don't want to have one that has like an anti-congestant in it, because that will dry you out. So I just want to look up. You can buy it just like that from the drugstore, and you want to take that right before it's an expectorant. It works by thinning and loosening mucus in the airways, right? So it also works by thinning and loosening mucus everywhere. So that helps your cervical mucus. How long were you taking DHEA and ubiquinol before change came in the quality of your eggs? So, Deborah, I was taking it by the time I did IVF. I had been taking it for, oh my God, a year at that point. I can't say 100% sure that it increased the quality of my eggs. I can say that it increased the quantity of my antral follicle count. I think the quality was good enough because it got fertilized. But of course, there will be people who will say, well, you had a miscarriage, so you could have had chromosomal abnormalities. I could have. We won't know. But yeah, it says, all the literature says 90 to 120 days for the DHEA. Play at your own risk, I guess. Clomid for 2 cycles had no side effects except for dryness. Yeah, so that's a typical thing for the Clomid because of the way that it works, dryness. Does low estrogen during IVF mean bad egg quality? How do we produce less pre-ovulation estrogen as we age? That is a good question. So low estrogen in and of itself doesn't mean bad egg quality. It's going to mean, if it's in the beginning of your cycle, that your lining is going to be impacted. If you're just doing an egg retrieval, though, that's not that big of a deal. If you're going to do a separate cycle for transfer, you'll have that cycle to worry about your lining, right? Why do we produce less? Because our body is slowing down. We're not meant to be fertile all of our lives. And so you're going to produce less. I'm trying to not say this in a discouraging way. Your fertility is decreasing. And so your body is shutting down those things. And you don't need them. Our bodies are not set up to keep creating eggs or keep releasing eggs and keeping us fertile into our 50s. So as we get closer to that age, it declines. Now, of course, we all have relatives who are like, my grandmother's grandmother fell pregnant at 50 naturally. Yes, it happens. But in general, your fertility is less than it was when you were 25, right? And so it just goes down in the same way that we start like shrinking as we get older. Our ears keep growing. It's just part of the aging process. I'm taking the Conceive. I have my retainer in, guys. I'm struggling. The Conceive Easy supplements to hopefully boost my fertility. What supplements do you suggest to get your body to ovulate on its own? So the minoisotal is good for ovulation. Maca root is good for overall hormonal balance. Vitex, I've heard mixed things about it. I didn't have any issues with Vitex. It helped with increasing my luteal phase. The maca will also do that as well with the progesterone. So if you're having like progesterone issues and you know your progesterone doesn't increase, maca root is definitely good for that. Maca root and Vitex. But when you're adding all these supplements, keep a journal, because you may have a reaction to it as you add something, and you want to be able to identify what it was so that you can take it out of your supplement regime, if that makes sense. But I think overall, boosting your fertility is like your total health picture. Are you exercising? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Are you getting enough water? All of those things contribute to your overall fertility because it's part of your overall health. And it contributes to your egg quality. So I think don't just think about it in a pill form. Like, can you get your vitamins somewhere else? Can you eat a little more broccoli, eat a little more spinach, have less dairy? Dairy is an interesting one because it has hormones in it, right? So a lot of us have been trained to have like no fat or low fat dairy. Well, it alters your own hormone profile because where is that milk coming from? That is coming from a female cow who has given birth, who is lactating. And so her hormones are in there. If you take the full fat, it's not as disruptive as if you take the low fat or no fat, because then there are sort of like, if you think of like molecules, they've stripped off a part of that molecule and they've taken the fat, and then yours is going to slap onto it. And so when you have the low fat and no fat dairy, it is an endocrine disruptor. It is messing with your reproductive endocrinology. So I think being mindful of what you're eating is probably first and foremost before any supplement that you want to have. And then there are like DHEA and ubiquinol, or CoQ10 specifically, are created in the body naturally. So when you're supplementing, you're doing just that. You're adding on like what your body can't create on its own to restore it to when you were younger and when you were more fertile. The other stuff like vitamin B and folic acid, folate, you can get that naturally. You don't have to take a pill. And I don't know, after you've been at it a while, you kind of get tired of taking pills. Like I do anyway. It's just, we're built to consume that naturally if we can at all. Vitex helped me increase my little phase, but I did not use the full recommended dosage. Okay, yeah. So Vitex helped me as well with my little phase. I don't even remember what the dosage was. I feel like each bottle I get is a little different, but I know some people said they didn't get a period at all, or they didn't ovulate. So I think you just have to be mindful of it, of what you're doing. And definitely when I first started with all my supplements, I was temping. So I knew exactly what was going on with my cycle. I knew the day that I ovulated. I knew exactly how long my luteal phase was, because I think we get used to the apps, and the apps are kind of guessing. If you don't have that temperature rise and confirm it for 3 days, you're not sure if you ovulated, like, or unless you're going in to get blood work, it's a guess. So I think the more data that you can give yourself and your doctors, the better. Have you heard about fertility and chiropractic? I have. I'm a chiropractic chicken, so I haven't tried it. But I know if you watch Tanika TTC, her journey, she included chiropractic care in there. I do acupuncture. I just don't want my neck snapped. Not my thing. But I know that acupuncture is not the thing for some people. Some people don't want needles. I don't feel them. They don't bother me. The neck snapping is not good. But I have heard that both chiropractic and acupuncture work can support it. And check with your insurance. Even if your insurance doesn't offer fertility benefits, it may offer acupuncture and chiropractic benefits. Even if it's only like 12 sessions a year where they think you're going once a month, definitely leverage like anything that you don't have to pay additional money out of cost for if you can. But any self-care is good. So if you like chiropractic and it feels good to you, definitely put it in your regime, because there is a lot of evidence to show that it helps with fertility. Is it Dilcia, probably, hopefully. Diagnosed with premature ovarian insufficiency. I was only 34 when I was diagnosed. Oh, wow. I am not taking anything other than vitamins, but I'm low on vitamin D. Okay. So are you supplementing with vitamin D? Have you heard about, okay, I love the chaseberry Vitex because it lengthens my little phase and gives me high LH. See, that's great. And so higher LH is typically means your progesterone will be higher too, because that means you had a stronger ovulation. So the LH is the last hormone that comes that helps your egg burst through your ovarian follicle. And the bigger that push is, the more ruptured the corpus luteum is. And then when it collapses, it releases progesterone. So high LH is good. It means you're going to have a bigger progesterone push. Swafford story. I'm taking a multivitamin. Okay, vitamin D, vitamin B complex, and the Natural Conceive Easy supplements, and I'm drinking over 100 ounces of water. Oh, kudos to you, sis. A day, but my diet can be revamped. Okay, so pat yourself on the back, acknowledge that what you're doing really well. It sounds like the supplements and the water, you're on top of it. Diet has an opportunity for improvement, so work on that. Don't beat yourself up. Take it a day at a time, and don't go crazy. Like if you're drinking Diet Coke, maybe take the Diet Coke out of your daily food intake. If you're having something sugary, like start slow so that it's something you can maintain and then build on that, I think. G family, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt you? Okay. I'm just scared, G family. I'm not even saying that it hurts. I'm just scared. And I probably could use it because I know I have an alignment issue, like I can see over here. And I have that little hump. I'm just frightened of it, to be honest. So maybe I'll try it. It is covered in my insurance too, so maybe I'll try it. We'll see. Check in with me in a month, see if I did it. Timberly, do you believe your chances increase with sex every day or every other day is better? Also around ovulation, twice a day, I hear mixed opinions. I'm feeling like it's a job sometimes, timing sex. It is a job, sis. It is a job. So couple of things. It depends on if sperm is fine. So if there are no male factor issues, if the motility, mobility, and morphology are fine, and you guys are up for it every day, sure. If there is a morphology issue, it's recommended that you wait and do it every 2 days. So I think this is where tracking your cycle like a beast is important. If you know when your fertile window is approaching, the idea is, so sperm lives 5 days. Idea, in a normal sperm in a normal environment, assuming like your cervical fluid is fine and it's not hostile and everything else, all things being equal, it lives for 5 days. So if you want to front load it, if you know you're going to ovulate on Friday and it's going to live for 5 days, start Monday, start Sunday, and then do either every day or every other day. But I think you want it to be enjoyable too, right? You don't want it to just be a chore. Like you don't want to be like looking at your watch while he's on top of you or counting ceiling tiles or whatever. So every other day you should be good. Even if, there are no sperm issues and you feel like that's all you can manage is every other day, you should be good. If you want to do it every day, typically the older a man is, it takes a little bit longer to like restore the stores, like re-up. There isn't a lot of evidence to show that every single day is necessary. There isn't a lot of scientific data, but it's like some people are like, it can't hurt. And so if you're up for it, it can't hurt. And then I would so the egg also can live for 12 hours after you ovulate. So if you are temp tracking and like this is, like today, I'm pretty sure I felt ovulation pains. I'm expecting my temperature to rise. Yes, tomorrow in the morning when I take my temperature. So, and I feel like it was around 11 o'clock. So at 11 o'clock tonight, that egg, if it hasn't been fertilized, is not going to make it. So you can do it up until the day of ovulation. So I think tracking your cycle and kind of knowing when your window is, tracking things like where your cervix is and your cervical mucus, if you've got that egg white, even before it turns completely egg white, because egg white's only going to give you 2 days. So you want the days before that. So when it starts getting like creamy and then watery, get your sex in. Because you want to have just more than the 2 days. I know some people wait just until they get the ovulation. That is only going to give you about 12 to 36 hours to have sex. And so that can get a little tricky unless you're able to drop everything and get to your partner. So leading up to it, you want to have like that sperm on deck waiting for that egg. And there is a lot of evidence to show that sex before the egg is released is better than after the egg is released, right? Tracing that 12 hours. So it's because the sperm have got to travel. It doesn't seem that far, but it's a long way for them. They use up all of their mitochondria getting from the opening or from the cervix to the through the fallopian tubes into your ovaries. So they're a little tired when they get there. They need a little head start. Elsa, hi Elsa. Received lab results AMH 376. Okay, that's a good AMH. FSH under 10. Awesome. Follicle count 22 and 17. Wow. So 22 on one side, 17 on the other. Girl, sis. I need your ovaries. Day 3 baseline. Vitamin D went up from untraceable to 33. Good job. Due to prescription strength vitamin supplements over 6 months. Awesome, Elsa. High five, sis. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. How is your folic acid? Did they do that? Did they test your folate/folic acid, prolactin, thyroid? I mean, you're good to go. Those are really fantastic numbers all the way around. Those are fantastic. If your spine is out of line, can cause issues. Yeah. Okay, G family. I'm sure mine is because I live in New York. You see that big bag right over there? I carry that around on one side all day. And I can't switch it from the other side. So either one of my arms is longer, which I don't think is the case, or like I'm just off. So I'm going to go, G family. Hold me accountable. I'm going to go at least once and see what happens. Socia, you all should YouTube chiropractor and fertility. How often and far apart to check for ovulation? Kiosha, do you know about when you ovulate? As it gets, this is hard. I want to say this right. As you get closer to it, you want to test more frequently. So say, for example, if you know you ovulate around cycle day 12 to 14, day 9, 10, and 11, you want to test twice a day. You want to do a 10 a.m. and a 2 p.m. or 2 p.m. or later. Typically, you don't want to do first morning urine for ovulation. I know we do it for pregnancy tests. If you have to, you have to, but you want to do it around 10. I know sometimes people are at work and they can't. So leading up to that, though, you want to do the afternoon one because you want to get the pulse of it increasing. And what do I mean by that? I'll show you I showed the people who were here earlier. And I say earlier, it's hard to tell who's coming and going because everybody's not talking in here. But let's see if I can get it all in one shot for you. Can you see that? Okay, so I started here on cycle day 9. It's really, this is just one test. I kept taking the picture because I wasn't sure if it was right. But anyway, cycle day 9, hopefully that's not in reverse. Cycle day 10, cycle day 12, sorry, 14 and 15. As it started to increase, and this is the Easy at Home app. As it started to increase, you see here, I took it more frequently. This one I took last night, and because it was so high, I took another one this morning. I took another one this morning. So that's why I'm saying, for me, I'm pretty sure ovulation happened today at around 11. If my temperature is not risen tomorrow, I'll be super surprised. But I want to show you the app that came from. This is it's the Easy at Home app. It has this little calendar. You see how it's telling me ovulation is coming? It just so happens it's all syncing up. This is saying ovulation is going to happen tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's happened today, and tomorrow I'm going to get the increase. Here is where the temping comes in handy, though. How will I know? And this is, I've taken it at the same time. These high marks is where I was drinking. Apparently, alcohol rises your temperature. Tomorrow, I'm going to expect that this temperature is up here. That will be my first sign that I've ovulated. Especially today, I had, well, yesterday especially, I had egg white cervical mucus, and then it stopped around this afternoon. I'm expecting it to go up. That'll be my first sign. It has to stay up for 3 days in order to confirm that today was ovulation day. If you have no idea when you normally ovulate and you're just starting, I would say start about cycle day 7, like 2 days after your period is over, in the afternoon, and see where it is. Get you an app. This is the Easy at Home app. I'm using it with the Easy at Home ovulation sticks. I know some people use the Pre-Mom, which I think is by the same company. I'm not sure. They might be separate ovulation sticks. This one also came with a thermometer. So I use that in the morning. I had to set it at 7:15 every day because last month my temps were so erratic and I thought it was due to the timing. Now I know it's whenever I have a glass of wine too close to bedtime, it's going to spike. Start on cycle day 7, testing in the afternoon. Look for the pattern. As it starts to go from low to high, then you want to test more frequently because you don't want to miss the surge. Also, when you're testing twice a day, you have a better idea of when the surge happened. If you're only doing it once a day, you don't know if you're catching the end of that surge or the beginning of that surge. And when it starts to rise is when you want to have sperm on deck. You want to start having sex, or if you're doing insemination, you want to start having it on deck. It's not always an indication that it has happened. This is saying that it is about to happen. Anything can change. This is like when people are saying you want to not be doing too much, not like you want to make sure your rest is there. If I don't get enough sleep, that impacts my ovulation. If I'm running around and stressed at work, that impacts my ovulation. So my body could be trying to ovulate and then not, right? This is where temping helps because I'm able to confirm it on the other side. The other way to confirm it is you can do a progesterone test like 7 days later, but by then you've missed the ovulation. At least if you're temping, you can kind of see you need to keep having sex because it hasn't happened yet. Does that make sense? That is the method hubby and I egg meat sperm plan works pretty good. Oh yes, the egg meat sperm. And thank you, Leah's mom. She has very specific recommendations for timing of sex. And like, I don't know where my iPad is. I have that book though. It's here. Hopefully it's charged. I've been sitting on this little thing too long. My knees are going numb. Let's see. You know what? I might have my Kindle on here too. But that is a very excellent book for timing of sex. And she's got different recommendations, very specific information. So that's a great recommendation. Thank you, Leah's mom. I totally forgot about that book. G family, ovulation can change every month. You can ovulate on cycle day 12 one month, cycle day 13 another, cycle day 14 another. What doesn't typically change is your luteal phase, which is from ovulation until the start of your next period or pregnancy confirmation. Luteal phase is also known as the 2-week wait. It's the time after you've ovulated. I've been using Flow app, but not ovulating as it says I should. Yeah, it's just guessing, right, Kiosha? It's putting in, I shouldn't say guessing. It's guesstimating. It has an algorithm that is using the information that you input and saying, based on this data, this is about when you should ovulate. Again, it's predicting. It can't confirm. If you temp check, you can confirm. Temp checking is a pain in the ass. I'm not going to pretend it isn't, but where I am and what's going on, it makes sense for me at this point. Especially coming off of the miscarriage. So I'm like 3 cycles out, and I'm sure you guys know, like your cycle does not go back to normal straight away. So I just kind of wanted to know like what's going on with my body. Hopefully I can figure out what's going on with my Kindle. This doesn't make any sense to me. Where'd you go? Okay, we'll keep going. If it pops up, I'll open up the book. Okay, here we go. Now I've assigned it to it. Doing too much. Okay. I'm reading, guys. Give me 1 second. I just want to pull up this book that Leah's mom mentioned because it is the Sperm Meets Egg Plan. Okay, so let me share this screen with you guys. There are so many great TTC books out here. And especially if you're in your 2-week wait, most of these are available. You guys can see that, right? So it's this book. Most of these are available electronically. They also have audiobooks. I'm a visual learner, so I like I don't want to make flashcards. What's it doing? Okay, so let's do adjustments, detailed version of the summary. Let's do a refresher. Uh-oh. So anybody just joining us, we are in the sperm meets egg plan. Uh-oh. Let's do intro to the plan. Okay, so this plan was originally developed for women who had recently miscarried and wanted to get back on the baby track as quickly as possible. Since then, it's been discovered by tens of thousands of women who want to stack the odds of correctly timing their pregnancy attempts without doing a lot of charting or buying expensive fertility monitors. So if you don't want to be like me and be temping and charting, this is the way to go. Let's see. We found that we were almost doubling the usual rate of pregnancy achievement each month from 20 to 40%. Yeah. So I don't know if you know that. You've got a 20% chance if all things being equal every month. So this is increasing it. So let's go through this summary version. So try every other night starting cycle day 8. This assumes a 27 to 31 cycle. When you buy the book, you'll see for shorter or longer cycles. Buy 10 ovulation prediction kits or OPKs. Once you know your cycle, you may only need 5. But this is if you're starting out and you're not sure when you're ovulating. And I'm saying this, if you're using an app and it's guesstimating for you, you definitely want to test out when your ovulation is actually happening. It's going to be close every month, but not exact. So begin ovulation testing on cycle day 10. Test in the afternoon after holding P for at least 4 hours. So that's I'm just saying 2 o'clock. When test is positive, try that night plus 2 additional nights in a row. Skip one night, then do one last try. Take a home pregnancy test 15 days after. Is this showing me the full? Yeah. After your ovulation test was positive, if your period has not begun. If your ovulation test never goes positive, continue trying every other night until when you would have expected your period, then do a pregnancy test. That could be, so if you have PCOS, the ovulation, you could get a false positive or none at all, which is why she's recommending that. Then there's a detailed version of the plan. Read your OPK instructions carefully. Buy the cheapy ones. When it turns positive, begin trying every night, starting that night for 3 nights in a row. What if you catch the surge late? By the time this is what I'm saying, you don't know what side of the surge you're catching, right? By the time you get a positive, you could actually already be 24 hours into your surge, especially if you're only testing once a day. So once it starts to increase, like that line starts to get darker, that's what I'm saying, test twice a day. You could actually already be 24 hours into your surge. That's why you try that first night. Also, while sperm should get to the tubes within about 45 minutes, it can take 2 days. 2, if your cervical mucus trips it up. Give those swimmers some time. So that's what I'm saying. If you know it's coming, stack that sperm in ahead of time. Give it those 2 days that it needs. Of the 3 tries, the middle one is most important. It is most likely the day of your ovulation. If you are dead tired or having problems, this is the one to prioritize. The first try is for those who caught the beginning of the surge and thus might not ovulate for full 48 hours, sorry. Then skip one night and try one last time. You need a break, but you also need a last chance bonus round. The thing about the LH surge is that it has only set in motion the process of ovulation. This process can be interrupted by stress, illness, travel, upset, diet. See what I tell y'all? So that's kind of what's going on there. Yeah, so before we go, this is the book, The Sperm Meets Egg Plan, Getting Pregnant Faster by Dina Roy, author of Baby Dust and founder of pregnancyloss.info. So Dina has experience with miscarriage, and this was originally created for women who had experienced a miscarriage. So hopefully that helps. Does that make sense? Um, Hopefully, Timberly, that helps. If not, you can get that book on Amazon. Okay. I meet Sperm, Leah's mom. What cervical position means you're ovulating or about to? My cervical mucus is watery now, and I'm on cycle day 13 right now. So, A Swafford, it's high. It's called show. Soft, high, open, and wet is what SHOW is when you're about to ovulate. So it should be getting higher. So I typically check my cervical position in the shower in the morning. If you haven't tested it, it might be hard to tell where it is. This, I'm going to tell you guys, it's TMI, but hopefully you'll relate to it because this kind of resonates with people. So sorry if it's TMI. If you're having sex and there are certain times of your cycle where you can feel your partner, if you're in a heterosexual relationship, penetrating you more than others, it's because they're banging into your cervix. It's usually after your cervix is dropped. So either you are about to start your period or you just finished your period or you're on your period. It's lower in your vagina. And so you feel it because it's hanging lower and the penis has just more access to it. As you become more fertile, it goes up higher. They can penetrate you deeper. The idea, I'm thinking, is the body is pulling the penis in further, closer up, so that it gets the sperm closer to where they need to go at that point. When you're not, it doesn't really matter. But I think the mind is trained. Like the man's going to look for the cervix because he's felt it before, consciously or subconsciously. That's my TMI rant. I'm not going to go on further. You get what I'm saying, though. I have to test several times a day. Me too, a gullible girl. I think it just makes sense. And I love your screen name too. I've been using Flow. No, okay, we went that. Flow app is terrible. Okay. I've been, oh my God. So you guys saw this already. I've been experimenting with these. I'm going to do a review on all these. Here are the ones that I'm using. Fertility Friend, Glow, Easy at Home, Ovia, Kindara. This is just a test tracker, but I'm going to do a review because they have different things going on. Figure out what works for you though. I also use Flow, and honestly, it's not the best. It changes my ovulation dates all the time because I confirm ovulation by BBT charting. See, there you go, Brianne. So I love BBT for that reason. Not going to lie, sometimes I don't do it. There were times I didn't because I could tell when I had that drop that my period was coming and it would just send me into tears. But how late can you ovulate? There is no too late to ovulate, G family. So you can ovulate. Some women ovulate. I just watched someone's video who ovulated on cycle day 27. Some people have longer cycles. Obviously, the longer it takes to ovulate, the less cycles you'll have in a year. So it's, more, well, it's always imperative. I guess it's hyper imperative that you really track your cycle because you have less chances to get pregnant in a year, right? You're not going to have 12 cycles, so you won't have 12 attempts. But it can be late, it can be early. Good night, Tanya. Thanks for hanging out with us. Oh, it's 10:30. Okay, well, let's do until 11 and then we'll get out of here. What do you like best? What app do I like best, Brianne? Or which? I'm not sure what you're asking. I've been using Fertility Friend for the past 10 years. I have not noticed any of the others. I've not tried any of the others. Okay. Me too. Well, Mrs. Living in Hope. I haven't used it for 10 years, but I love it. I was responding to Brianne or to Timberly. I love Fertility Friend. I just don't like the way it looks, but of everything, it's most accurate. And I go from paying for it to not paying for it. I think paying for it is worth it because of the analysis that it does. Like when it does this detailed interpretation, this part of it, but I just don't like the way it looks, quite honestly. But for charting, it's great. The chart looks good. There's some like Glow has a crappy chart. Let me see if I can pull this up. It just goes on and on. which I don't understand. Oh no, that's not Glow. Okay, Glow did cut it off. It was going on and on. Let me just see. Some of them. Is it the Ovia app that goes on and on? It doesn't look like a traditional, which I guess if you've never done a regular chart, it doesn't mean anything to you, but it just looks crazy to me. Like, what is that? What is that telling me? That looks like a hotmess.com. Whereas if I go the Fertility Friend, it's like the old school chart, or like if you were doing it by hand, like that makes sense to me. Even though I have those, I was drinking. No more wine before bed. I need to try a new one. Just experiment with them. I mean, if you have the time, like because I want to do a review, I have all of them in there. Well, I'm doing all of them and I figured I would do a review. It's not because I wanted to do a review, but I was like, other people must have this struggle too. Like, what features do you like? What features don't you like? So yeah, what fertility lubricant do you suggest using? I have Baby Dance from Fairhaven and Pre-Seed. Fertility Friend is a classic, yes. I actually don't recommend any lubricant, a Swafford story. If you can get your natural juices flowing, that is best. But if you're gonna do one, look for one that is fertility friendly, like no silicones. I know I had recommended Pre-Seed in the past, and then some of the ladies had said that there are, first of all, it depends on how organic you want to be, because none of them are organic. So that's the thing, right? They have unnatural ingredients in them. So I think if you can get your own cervical mucus going, that's the first thing. If you like, the maca root powder is a good way to do it. Making sure you have done, like, you have a lot of exercise. Like, TMI again. When I am in my fertile phase and the more I walk, the juicier it gets. Or maybe it's just free flowing because I'm up and about, but it's like a rainforest. If you can't, then try like something like I'm not going to say it right, the gufesinin, the decongestant that loosens up mucus. I would go those routes first. Unless there's a vaginal dryness issue, because arousal fluid is not the same as cervical mucus. So if there's a vaginal dryness issue, then introduce something, but make sure it's fertility friendly. If there's not a vaginal dryness issue, I would work on just increasing your cervical mucus. When you're aroused, you're not getting any arousal fluid, then of course you want to have something, because otherwise it's going to be painful. Yes, it is so accurate. It said ovulation today, and boy, do I feel those pains. I'm hoping for a positive this month. We are only trying until September when I turn 46. Okay, Timberly, well, hopefully you will get it before then. I have to look. Did mine say ovulation today on Fertility Friend? Because I felt all types of pains. It does. It does. This is the only one that said it. Look at you. Okay. Interesting. And Fertility Friend, which is good, it lets you put in like where your OPK was, and it helps you adjust accordingly. Like if you're at high or peak, it calculates that in there. When I was doing my IVF, it also calculates in when I had the HCG shot, and it asked me if the trigger was confirmed. Like it just has like more, it has a lot of detail in it, and actually uses that information to inform how it's predicting. The other ones, Kindara looks like it is, but it's a little off. Ovia does not calculate at all. I'm trying to think. Glow, I think it doesn't even calculate. It doesn't even let you put in, like it says sex or not sex, which everybody's not having sex to get a baby. So then you have to say, okay, well, that was an insemination, right? Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, you have to play around with the apps. All the fertility tracking apps are not created equal. And Fertility Friend, Mrs. Living and Hope, you're right. It's like the OG of it. I'm not a fan of how it looks, but for accuracy, sure. So Glow is predicting that I ovulate tomorrow. So it's, I believe, 1 day off. I won't know until I know. I'm trying to, what was I looking for? Oh, entering data. That's the other thing. It doesn't, why is it this confusing to enter the data? Calendar, edit log. Yeah, so see, this is just assumes you're having sex. Had sex, no sex, multiple sessions. you might not be having sex to get pregnant. So then you have to like put in sex even if you had an IUI. There are others that also ask you, did you have unprotected sex or not sex? So I think that's for people who are not trying to conceive, or if you had the withdrawal method, it asks a lot of details. The more information that it asks and it actually uses to factor your ovulation, to factor when it might happen, the better. Otherwise, it's not that helpful. I tried pre-seed and hubby hated it. My semen is good and that made things worse for me. Okay. Yeah, if your cervical mucus is good, that's the best thing for the sperm to get to where they need to go. Flo has not. Yeah, try Fertility Friend. It's not pretty, but once you get over the looks, it's so far the most robust as far as what it offers. And then there's a free version. If you pay for one, it gives you more detailed information. There's also a community on there. So there's a lot of boards. There's an over 40 group. There's a miscarriage group. So there's a lot of ladies in there with information, which is good. And you can like get cycle buddies and whatnot. A gullible girl, I like Fertility Friend, and you can probably get a discount on the VIP annual rate if you email them. Oh, nice. Girl, I do month by month. I'm like, I'm getting pregnant next month. But okay, that's good to know. If you could see my husband, is he listening to me? Oh my God. He's like, what is going on? He knows when he hits that cervix, girl. Stop. I use Flow, Glow, and Ovia. Okay, so I have not used Flow, but I'm using Glow and Ovia. I use all of them too. Addicted, but I like FFS. Yeah, I'm addicted too. Hey, Kayla Lamarca, how are you? Oh, Lamarca makes a good Prosecco, girl. Are you related to them? Okay, I think that is it, ladies. We have talked on and on. I don't know that we went over. We kind of did. If you have any more questions about FSH, AMH, AFC, let me know. AFC is andro follicle count. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. The higher your hormone is, FSH, during your follicular phase, so cycle day 2, or the early follicular phase, because there's a later follicular phase. Cycle day 2 through 5. If it's very high, it means your body is working really, really hard to produce and stimulate eggs that month. I know sometimes we think higher is better, but it's not in this case. And so I think good living is really the best way to get that down. Eating well, exercise, sleeping well, etc. That's the best way to address those. I also did royal jelly. Some people like royal jelly, some people don't like royal jelly. So I did royal jelly. I did the raw form. It's a little funky and it's expensive. So then I switched to the one that is mixed with the bee pollen. I originally did raw royal jelly with bee pollen tablets on the side. You see that? I was leaning. Did you see that, G family? Now I really got to go to the chiropractor. I'm feeling self-conscious. And then I mixed the one you get off Amazon where it's all mixed together. So I did that. I believe that contributed to my FSH lowering, and that was recommended by my acupuncturist. Most REs are not fans of it, and it's not naturally occurring in the body. So it's not for everybody. Obviously, if you have some sort of honey allergy, please don't take it. What days did you do blood work during your IUI? So at, Kayla, not sure Lamarca is my husband's family. Also just finished my procedures. I got HSG done and hysteroscopy. Okay, I'm going to come back to you, Kayla. Mrs. Living in Hope, when I was at Columbia, so I went in on cycle day 2 or cycle day 3 for my baseline for IUI. Then if everything came back clear, I did 5 days of Femera. And after, I want to say, if I did 5 days, that got me to cycle day 8. Cycle day 11, I went back in for blood work and ultrasound. If everything was clear, like lining looked good, follicle had grown well, we would set a date for trigger. If it wasn't, then I had to come back. So there was a time where my lining was not where she wanted it to be before trigger, and my follicles were not quite there, but they were close. And so we were doing a dance. She gave me the estrogen patches to put on my abdomen to help thicken the lining. And then when I was taking those, I had to come in every day because she wanted to see how much my follicles were growing. Because at that point, later in your cycle, estrogen is the estrogen rise is what triggers your LH rise, or luteinizing hormone rise. So she didn't want it to go up too high to trigger my follicles to release before we triggered. Then there was another time where my follicles were not as large as she wanted to. And so then I went to everyday monitoring. But it was like, when I say every day, I think I went in for like 3 days. It wasn't like a whole week. And then we decided on when to trigger. Each time they did an ultrasound and they did blood work. They wanted to see what my E2, the estradiol, was. And I can't remember if they did progesterone. I think they did luteinizing hormone. They wanted to see if that was surging as well, indicating that ovulation was imminent. So there was one time where I just randomly, and I think you guys saw that video, I took my OPK that morning and it was one of the flashy smiley faces. And then I went in and they also confirmed that my LH, that I was about to ovulate. They still had me trigger. They had me trigger that night. But instead of coming back day after or 2 days after trigger, they had me come in the very next morning. So I triggered like at 9 o'clock at night and I had to be back in for my IUI at 9 a.m. So 12 hours later instead of the 36 hours later. Does that make sense? They gave me the shot to make sure that I had a really good ovulation. But yeah. Okay. So HSG done, Kayla, congratulations, and hysteroscopy. So why the hysteroscopy? Did they find something in your, well, no, you had HSG, not SHG. Did they do an SHG before or did you have a polyp or what was going on? But hopefully all is clear and you're ready for baby making. What did you do? Okay. Good night. Oh, good night, Timberly. Thank you for hanging out with us. Positive tests with full-term babies. Amen. Amen. Go get cracked. I was scared, but now I love it. Okay, I'm definitely gonna do it because now you have me self-conscious. Like I'm leaning to I got a gangster lean going on. Yes, Tosha, thank you. Progesterone oil injections covered by insurance. It depends on your employer. So anything that is covered by your insurance is determined by what your employer has agreed to, or whoever is your employer, your husband's employer, where your insurance is coming from, I guess. Progesterone oils covered. Okay, I just read that. It's a lady on YouTube that said she kept having miscarriages, so she tried chiropractic and was able to stay pregnant. Oh, I love that. See, girl. I'm going, G family. You just have to check on me. I said I was going. Thank you so. Oh, thank you. Is it Ardell? Thank you. Thank you for sharing and allowing me to share. They found a polyp. Okay, so they removed your polyp, and then are you going to wait 2 cycles? I said this earlier, but I'm not sure if you were here. I had a polyp removed in September 21st. They wanted to biopsy it, so I didn't have my retrieval until November. But I was good to go. They just wanted to give me extra time for healing. It definitely is like the gold standard of what's going on with your endometrium lining, right? Because they're in there. They're not looking at a picture of it or an image of it like they are with the SHG and HSG. It's definitely worth the try, G family. I got you. I'm going to do it. We're going to check in. What is today? The 30th of April. So by the 30th of May, we'll say that I've done it. Oh, thank you, BB. Oh, thank you, Tosha. I just really am passionate about it and I want to advocate for people because when I came into it, I didn't have a lot of information and I've done a lot of research. And I think sometimes we are afraid to do the research or don't have the rapport with our doctors yet to have that conversation. And so I really want to empower you ladies and give you the tools. Just like we looked up stuff tonight, you definitely can look it up. If you have questions about it, let me know. But I don't want it to be a big mystery of where you just are going in. We're already in a vulnerable position, right? We're going in and getting undressed and having some wand in our hoo-ha. So it's very intimate and personal and we're talking about our sex lives. So I just want to open it up and take the stigma out of it. Because I want us all to do what? Let's get those babies, ladies. How much is progesterone oil injections usually? How do you know you have a polyp? Okay, so a Swafford story. I don't know. Maybe some of the other ladies will chime in. I did not do progesterone and oil. I'm going to say it differs where you are just because I live in New York and whenever someone tells me what they pay for anything, it's usually 3 times less than what we pay in New York in general. I do have really good insurance. So my total IVF med box was like $240. So I'm grateful for that because I know I've heard women say they paid thousands of dollars for it. Where are you located? That will probably help the ladies chime in and help you out. G family, I knew I had a polyp because we did an SHG, the sonohistosalpingogram, where they put saline solution in my uterine cavity and examined it via ultrasound. They saw a polyp, and so then they scheduled me for the hysteroscopy, and they did the polypectomy during that procedure, which they usually check before you do IVF. They want to make sure your lining there's no issues because a polyp can impede or prevent implantation, which you don't want when you're doing a transfer. They removed them. Days later, I got the HSG done. Follow-up appointment treatment plan is scheduled for May 7th. May 7th is my birthday. Thank you for going live and taking the time out. Oh, thank you, ladies, for hanging out with me. I'm in Kentucky and I have Medicaid. Oh, so Medicaid is, I don't know exactly what that is. Let me look it up. First, did someone prescribe you the progesterone and oil? Tell me where you are in your journey, just so I have a little bit. I'm gonna look it up though. Progesterone and oil. And oil. Cost Medicaid. Medicaid, not Medicare, right? Okay, let me see. I'm reading from my other screen, ladies. Okay. No, that's Ohio. That's not gonna help us. I think you're gonna have to call your insurance and ask them. It's gonna depend on a couple things, which is why I was asking you where you are in your journey. Like, it could be possible if you had miscarriages prior, and this is a prevention of miscarriage, they'll cover it. I don't, because I think Medicaid has something to do with public care. I don't think IVF is covered under that. So if it's specifically for IVF, it's probably not going to be covered. However, if it's a preventative or some other, if it's prescribed for some other reason, it could potentially be covered, if that makes sense, a Swafford story. Do you think they will make me wait 2 cycles? And oh my God, oh, thank you. I don't know, Kayla, did they send the polyps off for biopsy? If not, you're probably okay. What came back from your HSG? Like, are your ovary, your tubes clear and everything looks good? You probably are okay. The fact that they did them both, like, you should be good to go unless they told you otherwise, or unless you're waiting for some. Oh, but you have follow-up appointment on the 7th, so you don't know. But then treatment plan. So, and then HSG was done. Where are you? You might have to sit out one more cycle. I don't know where you are in your cycle. You may have to sit out one, which isn't the end of the world. Sometimes they want you to have one period, one bleed before they start you. Thank you, BB. I'm asking for future reference in case. I'm a little over 2 years of trying with my husband. Okay. Have you done like your basic workup test of Swafford story? You may not even need PIO. They could do tablets. They could do vaginal suppositories. Ardell. We were talking about that earlier, Ardell. I looked it up because New Hope does ovarian PRP. I couldn't find any clear studies that demonstrated having PRP increased pregnancy rates. So I haven't, and it is absolutely 100% not covered by insurance. So I've considered it in that sense, but I haven't pursued it beyond that. Did you hear about IVF going to be mandatory in New York? Yeah, so we already have quite a good IVF coverage in New York, but it's changed in that now it also includes preventative care. Like if someone is going through cancer treatments and they know, they're obviously their reproductive system is going to be impacted by that, male or female, that there is fertility preservation and some other things. The way the law is now, though, it still doesn't cover over 44. So my employer covers it up to 50, just not IVF with my own eggs. Their cutoff is 44. So part of my treatments are covered by insurance, and part of them are paid out of pocket. Like the IVF retrieval part is paid out of pocket by me. The transfer is covered by the insurance as long as I stay with someone who's in network. The meds were covered. The monitoring is covered. The insurance is all about the way it's coded. So the part that's attributable to like egg retrieval from me, that part's not covered. But yeah, if you are interested in helping in your state, if you don't have coverage, I did a video on it last Friday, Resolve.org. If you go on their page and sign the petition, they will write a letter to your legislators and say, this is important to you. And that helps build momentum. The more people who sign the letter, obviously, the more the politicians know that it's important. And politicians work for us, and they obviously are going to, whoever's voice is the loudest, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So the more people who are in their area, in their district, who say this is important, then that moves it up on their priority list of things to talk about. And then there's also an Advocate Day in May, I think May 12th and the 13th. Look it up on resolve.org. If you want to go down to DC and march with it, if you can't march, sign the letter and your voice will be heard. But definitely, I don't think cost should be any reason why we don't get to fulfill our families. Everything looks good. Okay, right tubes spill out the liquid dye immediately. They weren't very thorough, but overall they say it looks good. Did the left tube spill out dye? If you're going to do IVF, the tubes are not that well, I shouldn't say they aren't. It's important. It's okay if you don't have a tube, one or both. Hey, C. Whitley. I signed and my husband did too. Yay, G family. Awesome. Definitely feeling pinching on my right side. I'm having watery cervical mucus. I'm cycle day 13. So that is definitely good. And you should probably go and have sex, I'm saying. Yeah. G family. Yes. I'm glad that you guys both signed. Thank you for that. Yeah. If you are having all of those, it's go time. Does Resolve tell which states are covered? Yes. So California is an opt-in state. If you go to the resolve.org, they have it all listed out. I'm going to pull it up. Which states currently have fertility benefits and which states do not. I know because I'm a former California resident. California is opt-in. So some employers do opt-in and some don't. I just want to pull this up. Fertility coverage. Actually, I'm going to go to Resolve's website. They have a good map. But I know a lot of people complain about not having it. It's in our hands, guys. Our voices matter. And so I think the more we can rally for these things, the better. And I'm going to be straightforward. It may not happen next year or the year after, but I think the more we can build awareness, the people behind us will have opportunity. If we can do it sooner than that, then yes. There is an election coming up next year, so let your representatives know so they know it's important. Let's see, Advocacy Day, resources, advocate training resources. Let's see. There's so much information on the Resolve site. I just want to find the map. There's a lot here. It's really dense, which is good, except when you're in a hurry. Okay. Okay, so Advocacy Day, May 15th and May 16th. It is put together by Resolve, the National Fertility Association, in partnership with ASRM, American Society for Reproductive Medicine. And if you can't go, sign the letter. Resolve will deliver your letter to the members of Congress. And it's an online letter. When I'm saying sign the letter, all you have to do is click on 2 links and put your information in. I'm trying to find the map though. Scorecard, here we go. So let me just share this with you guys. Okay. Does your state have a blue dot? So here is the fertility grade, right? A through F. Alaska has an F. Maryland has an A. New Jersey has an A. Connecticut has an A. Massachusetts. New York has a B. Illinois has an A. California has a B. So does your state have a blue dot? Resolve has been monitoring legislative activity in your state. Your state lawmakers have a history of trying to pass laws that either restrict or expand access to care for the infertility community. So those are the blue dots. I want to look at California really fast. Only requires insurers to offer coverage, so it doesn't require employers to have it. Does not include IVF. Does not require religious organizations to offer coverage. So if you work for a church or someone else, you do not have to offer. Employers who self-insure are exempt from the requirements of the law. So that's what's going on in California. I want to see what New York is so I can go over this. Mandate exceptions, excludes coverage for IVF, gift, and ZIF. So that's what's changing. Reversal of elective sterilization. So if you had a vasectomy or a tubal ligation, that is excluded. Sex change procedures, cloning, or experimental medical or surgical procedures. Employers who self-insure are exempt from the requirements of the law, covers diagnosis only. So those are kind of what is going on. Here's the letter if you guys go on to resolve.org. It's signature, date, name. You can click here to find out who your U.S. House of Representative is. And you put in your zip code. I'll put in mine. Find your rep. This is my rep, Adriano Espaillat. And so I would go back to here and put in his name. Answer this question. Referring advocate. If no one referred you, you put NA. Or you can put my name. And then that's it. You hit submit. And then they will personally deliver that letter to the members of Congress on Advocacy Day. So it's pretty straightforward. And yeah, there are definitely states that need help. And I will be 100% transparent with you, ladies. The reason that there are difficulties in the infertility world, as far as financing goes, there are religious connotations that are associated with it. One, like I'm a Catholic, or I was raised Catholic. The Catholic Church does not support any assisted reproductive technology. I don't know about other churches. I have to imagine other churches have similar thoughts about it. So they are going to lobby for it not to be funded, right? That it not be required because they don't believe in it. It's like in the same way that they would not, that they would lobby against abortion. Because they don't believe in it. There are also a lot of people, the debate about right to life. When does life begin? Because when we're doing assisted reproductive technology, we are creating babies and we're putting them on ice. They're being cryopreserved. So if you are in the camp of no abortion, what are you saying about people who are throwing away their embryos? Because that happens, right? We know people end up with 22 embryos. They are not going to use them all. They are going to throw them away. Like, and they force you to say that when you do IVF, you will either donate or destroy. So you agree to either donate your embryos or destroy them if you decide not to use them, right? And because they are genetic material, you have to expressly state what you're going to do. Like the clinic can't decide for you. So if you believe the right to life happens as the moment conception begins, you are never going to support creating embryos that could potentially be thrown away. It gets even more complicated when we are then doing PGS testing, PGD testing, and discarding, right, throwing away babies because we're saying they're not viable. If you are a religious person and you believe that it's up to God, you're not going to. So that's the challenge in getting it all done. When we're saying like it's not fair, we should all get to. Those are the ugly truths about assisted reproductive technology. And so there are people with lots of money who are fighting, because they don't want that to happen. And that's why I'm saying it's important for you to let your representatives know that you, as a person who is represented by that person, wants to have this move forward. Because the other people on the extreme side are also lobbying, saying they don't want it to happen. And so it's the squeaky wheel gets the oil. All right. So we are at 11 o'clock. I think we should wrap it up here. My hubby and I have been trying for just over a year, 2 years now. So I feel you. Brianne, do you try steaming? I did not try steaming, see Whitley, the yoni steaming. I'm afraid I have to find a place. And Infertility said it was like a great thing to do and that there were professional places to go. I just haven't done that. I'm probably going to do the chiropractic work before I do the steaming. I got off my journey because we just purchased a house. I was not that place. I'm still going to try to have, okay. Yay, see Whitley. As far as the left tube, I believe so. Okay, so you're good to go. Yeah, so I think I'm going to send you a lot of baby dust for next Tuesday for your appointment, Kayla. I think it's all going to go well. I'm a Massachusetts resident. I heard they have to provide help, but I'm confused of what they have to cover and if I will have to pay $10,000. So definitely you can go to the Resolve website, Kayla, and I wish I would have seen that before I closed it, but you can go there and see what they cover, what's not covered, see what the exemptions are. Also, check with your employer or your partner's employer and see what's covered. But I think, yeah, Massachusetts had a green, so try it. It is under the Learn link on the first page of the Resolve for coverage. Oh, thank you, Elsa. I should have left this window open. Baby dancing every day this cycle and also uploading the ovulation testing videos on here. And I got a flashing smiley face yesterday. Okay, yay. So flashing smiley face is your estrogen is increasing. So definitely start having sex. You want to get those swimmers in there. Brianne is wishing a Swafford story, her BFP. Yes. Does not support. It's a Commonwealth state. Wow. Can you look at PA? Thank you so much, Brianne. Okay, I'm going to go back because you guys are asking for it. So let's just see. Where is the fertility scorecard again? We'll do it really fast. Okay. So Pennsylvania. Does the state have a law requiring insurance coverage for fertility treatments, also known as an insurance mandate? So no, Pennsylvania does not. I'm not sure why it's getting a B. It's got 54 specialists there, peer-led Resolve group, women in state who have experienced physical difficulty in getting pregnant. What was the other? That was Pennsylvania. I used to work for the Sisters of Mercy who didn't used to pay for birth control, but since agreed to have my insurance pay 100% for birth control. I'm so confused. Really? I mean, so maybe they're making a step forward. I know a friend of mine worked for the federal government and they didn't cover birth control, which I thought was interesting and odd at the same time. Yeah, there are some people who believe leave it in God's hands. You should have unprotected sex. And if God wants you to have babies, you will have babies. Unfortunately, those of us who are struggling know that that is not always true. And on the flip side, it's not always fair. Like you see, there are women, more so when I was younger, but people in the church who had like 10 kids and the women were exhausted. And I think praying that they didn't get pregnant. I don't know if they were using charting or not, you know, to not get pregnant, but it's not always good. Yes, we believe in God and he has for those of us who do, he has the last word, but we should have a say a little bit, I think. Helpful information relief. Baby does. Good night. I gotta be up at 5 a.m. Oh my goodness. Okay, Elsa. I think, yeah, I need to go to bed too. It's 11:13, ladies. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you have any questions that we didn't cover, as always, feel free to email me, tanika@simplytanika.com. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. I've been a little slow these days, so give me a couple days. Like if I haven't gone back to you in like 4 days, hit me again. but I've just trying to balance out everything else. But I think I'm gonna look really fast for you, Swafford, and then we're gonna go Kentucky. Let's see, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma. I don't know where Kentucky is. It's horrible. Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Oh, here we go. Kentucky. Kentucky has a D, no state coverage. It only has 3 fertility specialists in the whole state, 3 resolve groups, and 93,000 women are suffering with difficulty getting pregnant or carrying a pregnancy to live birth. So there are not a lot of resources there. There are 3 resolve groups, so I definitely would find them and find. But sometimes it's saying specialists. Sometimes you can find your OB or GYN will help you with it, like checking ovulation. But I think the first thing to start with is confirm that you are ovulating and confirm when you are ovulating and have timed intercourse accordingly. If you've been doing all of that for 2 years, it's definitely time to get some medical intervention, some support. Baby-G family. Good night, Latundra. Good night, ladies. Praying I get the green light to try again in May. Have a wonderful birthday. Thank you. At the appointment. Okay, good night. I'm just gonna put this in my email address in case you guys didn't catch it. That is where you can email me if you need anything. Good night. All right, ladies, I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And until next time, baby does to you all.